Okay, all right. We are out at Reesor Lake. Let me turn this one off. And we're gonna try some night fishing. We're gonna try some trout fishing. There's trout here, and see how that goes. I have some lures that I have set up, and I brought some glow-in-the-dark cloth. So we're also gonna try that for trout and see if that works. I don't know how well I'll be able to set the camera up over there, but if I catch a fish, I'll definitely record it. So we'll see how it goes. It's pretty dark out here, so. Like, there's no way you could see the lake. It's pretty dark. Yeah, we're just out here. I'm just gonna get some stuff for fishing. So those lines are they were back here, I just don't know where they're at. Yeah, I'll bring it back when I find the glow-in-the-dark stuff and I'll show you guys. Okay, so these are just pieces of paracord that I have brought along. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these pieces of paracord, we're going to glow them up, make them look really cool. And I got a really bright light to brighten them up here. And cast them out on a lure and see if that works. I got a 1,000,000 candle power spotlight, really, really bright one. We'll let those glow, get nice and glowy for a little bit. And then we'll grab the lure here out of our tackle box. Get these. Right here. That dollar store lure that we talked about earlier. We're just gonna whip it out on that. So we'll come back and we'll be down by the lake fishing. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to edit because this video is not going to be that great if I don't edit it. Sorry, there's a lot of like time where I'm stopped, but all right, we're gonna go ahead and get fishing and see how it goes. If I catch a trout, I'll definitely I'll definitely let you guys know for sure, because we'll have to go down and get it. It'll be fun. So, been fishing for about half an hour with that glow-in-the-dark paracord, the stuff here, the pink and the green, and I haven't caught anything. However, I did manage to catch a little otter friend out here, or whatever he is. He was out here a little bit ago. I could hear him splashing around and he was making some noise, so I checked to see if maybe I could get him on camera for you guys to see him. But I don't know which way he went. So here's the dock, or the little docks they built at Reesor. And yeah, he's right there. That's a big old rock. See, I don't want to shine the light too far out into the lake because you could get in trouble for poaching fish with a light or whatever it is. Although I've never seen it, but yeah, and they built like this really nice boardwalk. Goes all the way down. They have a whole bunch of nice benches all the way down and stuff. Stuff like that, but it's really nice out here. Oh, I think our little otter friend's back. Let's go have a look and see if he's back over here. Oh, you can hear that splash and I can hear him. Something over there. In the weeds. He could be hiding. They're very shy little creatures. What he did swim right up though. I seen him come right up. Also, the stars out here are just absolutely fantastic tonight. It is crystal clear. It's going to be a beautiful night for camping. I'll try to get some shots of the stars on the tripod, because holding the camera and trying to get shots of anything never works. And yeah, I mean, I'm out here alone. I'm not one bit afraid to be out here alone. I'm not afraid of anything. So I'm just, you can see an airplane way up over there. I don't know if you guys are, I don't know if I'll be able to pick up the stars on here or not. I don't think I'm able to. It's pretty dark. It's too bad too, because there's lots of stars. What I'll do is I'll put it on the tripod and I'll get it going, and we'll see if I'll try to get some pictures on the video. Here, I think I might be able to get a picture. See, I might be able to get them for you guys here. It's just, he's right out there. So there he goes. Hey, little otter friend. There he is, right there. Oh, there he goes. Oh, I lost him. They can actually hold their breath for a long time. He's just catching minnows and stuff like that. Little minnows out here, and sometimes people will just dump their leftover minnows in the water. Oh, yeah, he's over there. Ooh, there he goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm out here by myself, you know, at Reesor Lake. It's about an hour and 10 minutes outside of the city, or an hour and a half outside of the city. And am I afraid to be out here by myself? No, not at all. Matter of fact, it's beautiful out here, and I mean, you're surrounded by huge hills and trees. Tomorrow, we're gonna go for that hike. And I'm going to try to get you guys up to the landslide and see if I can get some really good pictures of it too. Alright, until tomorrow, guys. Alright, and here we are during the day. So this is Reesor Lake here. Goes all the way down into the corner there. It's another windy day today, so I'm going to speak maybe a little bit louder. I have kayaked so into that point, in that inlet over there, all the way around. I kayaked this entire lake. In the summertime, it was beautiful out here. Beautiful place to kayak. Great place to fish. There's lots of trout here. I think trout is about the only species in Reesor. It's a cloudy day. I thought today was supposed to be a little more clear, but this is the cards we got dealt for today. Alright, on today's adventure, we are going to go to Reesor Lake Campground. We're going to hike back because it's closed for the season. And we're going to go do an adventure around there. I know I promised I would do a video of the landslide, but with the weather being the way it is, it's super windy. Up on top, that ridge way over there, and then going way down, I'd have to hike all of that, which I don't mind doing, but with the wind and those big tall old pine trees, they're lodgepole pines, and some of them can be pretty deadly. I don't want to do a hike like that alone, so I'm going to wait till I have somebody with me to do a hike like that, to put it on YouTube. But it will get done before the snow flies, for sure. But yeah, so we're gonna get ready to start our adventure at Reesor Lake Campground. All right, here we are. We are on the east side of Reesor Lake. There's a couple of picnic tables down over there. So this is the east side of Reesor Lake. We were way up over there before. And last night, where you can see, I can zoom in here, there's a motorhome. Those docks, that's where we were fishing at last night. Yeah, and so this is the eastern shore of Reesor Lake. So we're gonna go back there, straight ahead, and that's where the campground is. So we'll go for a campground tour / hike back in there. All right, so we are back. Parking area, just on the other side of the campground here. Our walk today is gonna take us into Reesor Lake Campground. So there is, sorry, just gonna duck down here. There's a truck just right over here with a business name on it. Here's another trail. This trail is another part of the Trans-Canada Trail System. So this is the Spruce Coulee Trail System, almost the exact same one that we saw yesterday at Spruce Coulee. This one actually goes for quite a ways. Some information on the camping and stuff. Out here, out in the backcountry, yeah, you don't have to camp in a campground. I don't think too many people camp in campgrounds in the off season anyways. I know during the camping season, a lot of people do stay in campgrounds. I personally don't like to stay in campgrounds because I hammock camp. I can camp anywhere I want. It is outside of the campground. I consider it provincial park, which to me is the same as Cal land. I don't know, I guess you guys can argue the fact. But yeah, I don't usually pay to stay at any kind of campgrounds unless I'm with other people or I have guests come for a visit that want to come check out the Cypress Hills. Then of course, but when I'm by myself, yeah, no. So here we come to the first gate. Up in there you can see some great big fallen timber, some old trees. So over the last two and a half years, they have built, oh, look at that deer. They have built a bridge out here. Before, the road used to run right down along the creek, and you actually used to drive through part of the creek. It was pretty neat. But they built a concrete bridge, which we'll come upon here in a little bit. You can see some of these trees like this. This tree here, hanging over top of the road, totally dead. That'd make great firewood. But you shouldn't be cutting and using trees in a provincial park because they frown upon that. I buy all my wood. Wink, wink. And we're coming across another hazardous structure. Keep away. Well, we know what keep away means. Keep away means, let's check it out. Oh yeah, there's some water down inside there. That just comes out from Reesor Lake, and then where that goes is or sorry, it comes down this little stream over here, and then it goes into this little, through this wall into here underground, and it goes out to the lake. So yeah, you probably wouldn't want to get caught in that for sure. So I'm pretty sure there's other people out here hiking today because I've seen a couple of vehicles. I know the lighting might not be absolutely magnificent because it is a pretty cloudy day today. I'm hoping the video will be a little bit different. Stop. If oncoming traffic on bridge. Because getting two trailers, campers, past that is not a very fun idea. So you can fish in this creek here. I know lots of people that have, but they've had these signs, they're all over. This is Battle Creek and Grayburn Creek. Bait ban, June 1st, open, closed, April 1st to May 31st. That's for spawning. It's all in the sports fishing guide. This is one of the roads that comes around to Battle Creek. This creek that runs along here, well, we call it a creek, it's mostly dry. It's actually quite interesting, the journey of this creek. This creek goes from Alberta and it travels all the way down south to the Mississippi River. And then the Mississippi River ends up emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. So it's pretty cool. So you can touch this water, and eventually that water you touched will end up in the Gulf of Mexico. Way, way, way down the trail a ways. So yeah. This is Battle Creek. You can tell on that part here, there's a part just up on the side where there used to be an old bridge because the road, there's a road that comes around up over here. Or there was a road that came up over here at one point. It comes on here. And this is just an extra holding pond for when the water gets really high. They can open up the gates and they can divert the water down into there. And that goes just on the other side there, and it goes out to the lake. Usually in the spring when they have the winter runoff, because the snow out here in the Cypress Hills, oh, like 5 feet of snow, wouldn't be surprising. I've come out here in the springtime. I've come out here in the wintertime too, and there's a ski resort out here, which is really cool. And they have tons of snow. Usually when they get a good winter, they don't even have to make their own snow. It's usually pretty good. There's some nice little pools here where it gets deep, where trout would love to swim and hang out. Fly fishermen, this would be a great spot for people that like to fly fish. I'm not a fly fisherman. And just on the other side of this creek, so when we cross this bridge, we'll be up on Reesor Lake Campground. And we'll go for a tour through there. Like I said, and I know I'm going to repeat myself again, but to go way up there, that's what that landslide is. It would be theoretically okay to go up there and go do it today, but I'm by myself, and with the weather being the way it is, and some of the trails are really slick, like that trail that we saw yesterday that completely covered my boots. On hikes like that, it's always good to be with a partner or have somebody with you to go, because you know, if something happens and you can't get to your phone or a radio or call for help, yeah, it's pretty much game over. I'm gonna come up on this bridge here. I know in the summertime up here, there's people that they just put their chairs right down over here in the creek and keep cool, because in the summertime it gets pretty warm out here. This is still part of the prairie desert, but then it runs into the Cypress Hills, which is just like a huge escarpment type hill that runs from the Alberta border into Saskatchewan. The drive through is beautiful. Look, more Christmas trees. I mean, evergreens. Yeah, people who know, they know. All right, so we're officially at Reesor Lake Campground. Stayed at this campground this past summer. My reviews of the campground, unless you have a trailer, this campground, I know some people like to tent in that, but for me, I'd rather have a trailer camping back here, because there were a ton of skunks. We had them come right into our camp. Thankfully, we never got sprayed, because they were like right behind my chair. I turned around and there was a skunk right there. Scared the crap out of me. Come across another Texas skate with a walking path on it. So the cabin I showed you in that last video, which was the one at Spruce Coulee, there's another cabin back here, which I will take you guys to and show you. So we have a Reesor Lake backcountry hut. Fire hazard is at moderate. I don't believe that, because the groundwater it's completely saturated. Well, not completely saturated, but I just don't think they've changed it since the campground was open. I think it was, September 15th. Or October 2nd they closed the back campgrounds. So these are kind of backcountry campgrounds. Spruce Coulee is, and Reesor Lake is considered backcountry. And the prices aren't bad. I mean, $26 a night. Beautiful fall day. Just a little bit cloudy. It's too bad. I thought it was going to be, well, the weather said it was going to be sunny and 17, but it's cloudy and not 17. Yeah, it's not 17. Winter jacket, toque, gloves. So, got some more white-tailed deer just on the other side of the park over there. They were just right on the other side of that road over there on the other side. But the deer are so sketchy around here, because so many people, they'll come back here and illegally hunt. That's what they do. in Battle Creek Campground, which could go back and do a hike of that too. There's tons of bullet holes. There's remember that lunch, that shack I showed you yesterday at Spruce Coulee? Well, the chimney pipe that comes out at, sorry, I'm just double checking to make sure there's nobody back here. I don't think there is. Okay. Yeah, the chimney pipe that comes out at Battle Creek is full of bullet holes. So they go back there and they hunt all the time illegally. You're inside the boundaries of provincial park, which means, you know, people should be a little smarter than that. But it's unfortunate that some of the brains here are lacking in that department, because a lot of these hunters are like, we'll just go hunt in the provincial park. Tons of deer in there. All right, we're coming up on Reesor Hut. So this is the backcountry hut. This one also has a solar power panel. And then back here, so these are new. They just put these out here this year. These are wood boxes. So this is where they store their wood for people that come camping back out here. And they also supply a couple of cool things. They have a gorilla cart. So this cart. Oh, a little J over there. And they have a bucket. There he is. And they supply a stainless steel table out here. Some stuff like that. I don't think there's anybody out here. They have all the blinds pulled down, but yeah, when you come up, they have like a nice front porch and a doorway. They supply the cart because it's backcountry. You have to park. You cannot drive back here. You can drive into the campground when the campground's open, but in the fall, you cannot drive back here. You have to walk. So as far as I walked from where I parked, it's like a 5-minute walk. But they supply the wagon for you to bring your stuff. And in the wintertime, the off season, they do supply the bedding and they do supply the firewood. So you don't have to pay for it when you rent the cabins out here in the off season. All right, so we're gonna head back to the campground and go do a walkthrough. They're pretty fair-sized cabins. You could probably sleep 6 people in here comfortably in this cabin. I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but that's a pheasant back there. Hear it echoing through the woods. Love that sound. Sound of nature. You know, when you're just out in the woods and nature's doing its thing. Last night I was pulled up to Battle Creek and was stopped out there for a little bit just to see if I could find any white-tailed deer. There's some big mule deer or whitetails, and there are elk out here, but I've never seen one, at least not yet. And when I was camping out at Battle Creek this past summer, I made an owl friend. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So he'd go, hoo, 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 hoo. So I started hooting back to him. It's the same way, sort of, maybe a little bit different. And he'd start hooting back. I'd hoot back to him, and he'd hoot back to me. Last night when I was there, he was hooting away. It was neat to hear it. Loved him. And so I hooted to him, just let him know I was there, and he spoke to me, let me know he was there, and it was good. It's good to talk back to nature and have a rapport with nature. It's a soothing feeling when you're out in the woods. Very, very relaxing. So up here they have, this is what I was talking about, they have a chain across the road, so they have a chain going right straight across, post to post. Keeps you kind of from driving. So there's where we came in that way. And we're going to around here for the campground. So here we are now at Reesor Lake Campground. These are, well, old self-registration booths. They've covered them, and they cover them in the summertime too. Now you can make online reservations to camp out here, or you just go into town and go right up to the camp booth and register. I think it's about $26 a night. And once again, we're at the Spruce Coulee trail system. And yeah, Spruce Coulee is a reservoir. Sorry, I just wanted to double check that. I didn't think it was a lake. And out here are garbage cans. Which some campgrounds and some I've gone to in the spring and walked through them and found remnants of deer that people have killed inside the park and dumped in the dumpsters like real brainiacs. So here's site number 1. Beautiful site. Coming up on site number 2. It's another good site. So site number 2 is a huge site. Like there's lots of room back here. It's also a good spot if you have hammocks too. Some nice trees. I like to camp in a hammock because I have my netting, I have my tarp, and you wake up with your back's not sore. It's incredibly comfortable. If any of you watch this video and you've never gone hammock camping before, my advice to you on hammock camping is don't buy a cheap hammock off of Amazon. There's some really cheap ones out there. And if you do buy a good one off Amazon, I mean, there are some brand name ones out there that start with H. Mine does not start with H. Mine, however, is a good one. Like I said, it's made out of parachute type material. That's the kind of hammock you want. And you want tree straps that are webbed nylon. You don't want paracord tree straps by any means. But I also weigh 225 pounds, so makes a bit of a difference. But my tree straps are sound and solid, and I've been using them for a couple of years now without really much wear under the tree straps. And if you see through the woods there, you can see where the cabin is. Site number 8. Pretty fair size site. Site number 9. Site number 10. They just throw the picnic table up against the fences like that, I guess, in the winter time. This is one of the only campgrounds. Well, Spruce Coulee has them too, but I'm pretty sure all the campgrounds out here do. There is one, Cabin Lake, where I did that one video. They take all of the picnic tables and they put them in a giant locked up fenced yard. Wasp trap. Let's check this sucker out. Wow. That wasp trap is loaded. You know something else I just noticed? The queen is in there. So Here's part of a wasp. This here, that's part of a wasp nest. I don't know if there was one up in this tree. I don't know if these are put out. I think these are probably put out by the park to protect campers from wasps and stuff. But yeah, there was a queen in there. Let's see her. They do quite a lot of cleanup at these campgrounds in the summertime, because I was here last spring for a hike. I think it was April I was out here, and the last part of the park and by where the cabin is was all underwater, like probably 6 inches of water, because the creek had overflowed. That's how much snow they get out here. It's crazy. And it's only about an hour and a half from town, and it's east, so you'd think if it was west towards the Rockies, you know, but it's because the elevation here is way different than, say, Medicine Hat or Red Cliff. Those kind of places are not as high. I think the elevation out here is 1,300 meters. So, camped out at Lodgepole Campground, which is in Elkwater town site there. Camped out there at Lodgepole, and we were camping in the clouds the one year. It was really cool. I woke up in the morning and you think it's a fog, but it's not. You were actually inside the clouds, which were so high, because you're so high up. It was really, really cool. I've never been in a camping situation like that before. Here's the washrooms. I think they're locked. No, they're not. So, pit toilets. Campground's closed, washrooms aren't locked. That's pretty cool. A nice little skylight, so you have light to... That's the men's and the women's washrooms. And these ones actually aren't too bad. They don't stink like some of them do. The ones at Reesor Lake at the very beginning when you come in, or sorry, not Reesor Lake, at Spruce Coulee, they are the stinkiest bathrooms, public outdoor pit toilet or vault toilet. Most vile toilets I have ever used. I don't know why those ones are so bad, but they are. Come in here. This is another picnic shelter. In here. Couple of picnic. There's no fireplace in this one, or fire pit or fire stove. But the campsites are pretty fairly spaced apart, so coming out here you have, like, you know, like that's one, you know, site, and then site number 17. Oh, somebody left the water on over there, because that's what somebody does. I see that now. I heard a noise. Sorry, I had to stop for a second. It sounded like somebody was walking through the woods, but it's actually... somebody either decided to leave a tap on, or it's just some other nice Christmas trees. I mean, evergreens. You can see all these little mud holes here. These are prairie gophers. They dig out. And they dig out all their little burrows for the wintertime and stuff, and then a little playground here for the kids too. And back over there, there's another playground for the kids. Or adults, depends on how drunk you get, I guess. This is an old school swing set. You can tell by the paint. Then we have Site 22. Site 22 is pretty nice. It's up here, so it's really kind of out of the way. It's a nice little spot up in there to camp out. It's pretty private. I think you fit a nice sized tent up there. And it's out of the way, so Site 22 is a good one. But like I said, the skunks were really bad here. Like every night there was at least 1 or 2 skunks that come around. Even with no food out, they would still come around and check. And another creepy fact, a creepy bit, there's a couple of campsites back here too. So you have some sites that are way back up here and way out of the way. Site 37, 36, or 34, 36, 38. Another creepy fact, which is bizarre, and this campground and another campground, so Reesor Lake and then Lodgepole we were at, and then we were at another backcountry campground, Loops, B, D, and E. Sitting there having a fire one night, and this was just after we saw the skunk, so this is what I find so bizarre about it. Saw the skunk, chased the skunk away. Then looked on the ground, and there was probably like 20 to 30 daddy long leg spiders crawling around on the ground right where the skunk was. And unfortunately, I never had a chance to get it on video, but I was with somebody who can confirm that they also saw it, and it was creepy. There was like tons of them out here. Tons of long legs, yeah, it was insane. Somebody left some firewood out here, which isn't uncommon. People come out here in the wintertime quite a bit, or if you can get back here in the wintertime. They're very good with the roads, though. I will admit that Cypress County does take care of their roads really well. But the backcountry ones, like Grayburn, they close it because if you don't have tire or chains on your tires, yeah, you ain't getting back there. There's no way. And I don't think they really take care of those back roads. And there's our friend, Monsieur Le Pew. See if these ones are open. Nope, see, these ones are locked. I think they just forgot to lock the other ones. Yep, locked. Oh, the spigot is broken right off. Untreated. You see the ice on the ground? So you can definitely tell that it got really cold out here at one point. I think last week it was really cold. Yeah, so I don't know if they do this on purpose or what they do, but it definitely wasn't doing that in the summertime when I was out here. That's runoff. We have site 25 coming up. It's a pretty fair sized site. And you don't have anybody to the left. A little bit to the right here. On the right side. Site 26. I think these ones here are mostly tenting sites. For people that like to tent and stuff like that. Well, I had a great sleep last night, by the way. It was super quiet. Had a fantastic view of the stars. Just fantastic. Couldn't have asked for. It was windy, but it was like a warm wind. So I think it was out of the south. And then we have some stuff up here. Other campsites. Yeah, the wildlife are really sketchy around here. The deer are very, they see you, they take off right away because they know what's up. They know it's that time of the year too. And then we come to the final site in Reesor Lake. This is site number 32. This is a pull-in site, I guess. If you have a trailer, this would be perfect for a trailer. A lot of these sites are, but some of them are strictly for tenting, like some of those back sites back over there. Through the woods straight ahead, in the middle of the camera, you can see there's a tiny little squirrel back over there. There's lots of little red squirrels back here. They love to come around and chitter while you're out camping. And one time left the buns on the table, and Mr. Squirrel came along in early hours of the morning, got into the buns, ate half the bag. So ended up having to go back into town and buy more buns. And in Elkwater town site, a pack of buns cost me $5.99 or $6.99 or something like that. It was insane. Yeah, in here we have a bunch of rocks. This must be for overflow, groundwater overflow to go in, and I'm assuming goes down back to the creek or back to the lake through underground pipes. I assume a lot of stuff. I know. I'm a genius. What can I say? There. So this is our tour of Reesor Lake Campground. It is a beautiful campground. They have that nice little backcountry hut back there you can rent. I'm thinking this year I would like to rent that backcountry hut for a night or two and check it out. I would also like to rent the one at Spruce Coulee as well. It's good if you have more than just a couple of people though. Like this backcountry one that we just looked at, be great for a couple and say 2 children max, 6 people max, you know, and of course 50 dogs. Everybody that comes camping out here, and I love dogs, don't get me wrong. German Shepherds are my cup of tea. But everybody out here has a dog. Everybody out at the backcountry campgrounds have dogs. Every single one of them. And some of them, the dogs don't stop barking. Like, you get away from the city to come out here, and you want to kind of get a peace of mind. You want to kind of relax a little bit. And you got to hear somebody's dog barking and barking and barking and barking. Non-stop. However, one time in particular, up in Lodgepole, which is way up on top of a hill, like that hill straight ahead, it's hard to tell with depth, but that hill is a good 200, 300 feet high. Excuse me. We had these 2 dogs, and they kept barking and barking and barking and barking and barking. And it was nighttime. It was about 9 and 10 o'clock at night. We were sitting by the fire, and a skunk walked right through our site and went right over where those people were. And I'm telling you, this is karma at its best. Well, the dogs decided to bark and bark and bark. Well, the dogs got sprayed by the skunks, because for about a good hour after that, and hearing the dogs whimper, which I felt, you know, if the dogs got sprayed in the eyes, could be really bad. But I mean, you know, they got sprayed, and that's all you could smell. And the owners of the dogs ended up having to load their dogs into the car, into their crates, and drive with those stinky dogs in the back of an SUV all the way back to town for a shampoo. And then I think they did actually, eventually they came back out without the dogs. So, oh, there's another little, you can see it there. Right there, a little, right in the center of the screen is another beehive, or a wasp's nest, a hornet's nest. So many people call them so many different things out here. Wasps, hornets, the things they call wasps from Ontario, I'll call them yellow jackets. Maybe some people in Alberta do too. Hornets are usually the double segmented body. Wasps are usually like the double segmented body with a little segment in the center of them, and they have a giant stinger. I seen a huge king wasp or whatever they're called in September right in front of my place on the sidewalk. There was the neighbor kids were playing outside, and it was right on the sidewalk. So I told them, I said, hey, check that out. And they looked down, and it was a huge king wasp. I'm telling you, the stinger on that thing, the stinger on that wasp was probably like 1.5 inches long sticking out of it. It was huge. And they looked at it and they were like, oh my God. So I told them, I'm like, gotta be careful, because if that thing stings you, that'd be like a sewing needle going into you, and it wouldn't be fun. I don't mind getting stung by bees. I got stung by a bee this past summer when I was up at one of the overlooks checking out the landslide, which we're gonna go check out. And then I'll show you guys the landslide up that way. Unfortunately, I just can't hike up to it today because the trails are a mess and I'm by myself. Usually I don't mind, but yeah, just being alone, it's just not something I'm interested in doing. But we're gonna go on a tour here. So once we get back to the vehicle, I'm gonna end this video and I will put this video along with the tour that we're going to go on here. I'll add it to that video and it'll be all one video on YouTube. So, all right, when we come back, we'll be at the overlook, and there are a bunch of different signs up there too. I'll pan in on them so that you guys can read them about the area and about why the area, a little bit about it. And we can go see some, a couple of sites that are out there too that are interesting to go see. So we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so here we are at one of the lookouts. So this is called Police Point Slump. This one in particular. Give you guys a chance to read that. Of course, you can always pause it and read it. And it shows the different slide periods during 1952 to 1992. Here's a picture of what it looks like. And I'll show you guys a picture of what I'm talking about here. So we're gonna look across this valley and up the hill. We're looking right along here. Right along here. Right exactly where my finger is there. You can see that slump. I'll zoom in as best as I can. As close as I can to it. I think it's as close as I can get. So way up there, that's that hike I was telling you guys I was going to go on. But from where I was, it's about a 3.5-4 kilometer hike up to that landslide area. And it's really cool. I'm going to get some still shots with the tripod on the 50 megapixel lens that I have. And I'm going to get in real close and I will try to add them into the video and shots so you guys can see it at a way better view of that. Yeah, so that's Police Point Slump. That's where we were going to go. I still have it in my plans to get up there. We will get up there, no doubt. Just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of planning, I think. I don't want to rush a hike like that because it's way, way, way up. So when we come over here, they do let their cattle does free roam out here. So the ranchers let their cattle walk along all out here. They go all through here, the cattle. driving down here in the summertime. The speed limit on the road says 40 kilometers per hour, and it's just in your best interest. You know, I'm not trying to be a Kevin or a Karen, but to do 40, because there are some turns out here where you come around the corner and boom, there's cattle on the road. They weigh, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 8 to probably 1,000 pounds. So hitting one of those doing 60 or more, you're going to look at some pretty significant damage on your vehicle, or risk them coming in through the windshield and killing you and your family. So it's, you know, best to do the speed limit. But yeah, a lot of beautiful colors out there. We have all the yellows and oranges of fall. And you can see the slump where it comes down in the middle of the screen here. And then that ridge runs all the way down to Reesor Lake Campground by where we were at. So you have to go in through the campground to get up onto the path to hike up to the slump. There's another landslide too up along the ways. We'll stop and I'll show you guys when we come back. Alright, here we are at another spot. It's another spot up in the Cypress Hills. That's the road that keeps on going down, and eventually you get down onto that other road you can see through the trees, and that takes you down to Battle Creek and Greyburn. There's some tales of Battle Creek. It's another sign here. But first I'll show you some of the scenery. It's continuing down from the slump. It kind of reminds me where I grew up in Ontario. There's a place called the Niagara Escarpment, and it's just a great big hill like this that runs for about 215 kilometers. And there's tons of really cool stuff to explore and hike. Like there are different cataracts, which they call them, which have waterfalls in them. I think there's 12 at least that I've explored over the years. And they're absolutely beautiful waterfalls, all of them. The flora, the fauna, everything that grows down there. It's like being in a completely different landscape. It's almost like being in the jungle. And you get the mist that comes up off the waterfalls. It's beautiful. So here, this is Tales of Battle Creek, why it's called Battle Creek. The water from this little creek could end up in a pot of boiling crawfish in New Orleans. So like I said to you before, the meandering stream below. So the stream that you see over here is Battle Creek. And it goes all the way through. It runs off from the hills. It's incredibly huge journey, flows in southeast direction, first to the Milk River, then to the Missouri. Sorry, I said Mississippi earlier in the video at Reesor Lake. I made a mistake. It's the Missouri River, and finally to the mighty Mississippi. So it goes to the Missouri, then to the Mississippi, before draining into the Gulf of Mexico. And I'll try to sorry, just getting off some dung on there, but you can see there Nelson River, Battle Creek, Ross Creek, Milk River, and then going down and eventually emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. So the flats out here are called Greyburn Flats. The name Greyburn comes from an RCMP officer who was one of the very first Northwest Mounted Police officers at an outpost out here. So Battle Creek, Fort Walsh is east. Was there this past summer. Excellent place to go visit. I highly recommend it if you're out in Cypress Hills. The back road is a pretty cool drive on itself, but it's better if you have a little bit of a you know, I'm sure you can do it in a car, but having a lifted vehicle like a pickup truck, or say a minivan that has a higher lift on it. My van in particular has a higher lift on it, so I was able to make that journey down the back road to Fort Walsh pretty easily. Or you can just take the Trans-Canada Highway 1 east from Medicine Hat, and it's about an hour and a half drive to Fort Walsh via the town of Maple Creek in Saskatchewan. So Battle Creek refers to the Cypress Hills Massacre, a battle that occurred downstream on June 1st, 1873. The setting is now a National Historic Site near Fort Walsh, which I also got to see. It's a great place, and then what we'll do is we'll go down and we'll have a look at the other stop, where it talks about, I think it's Corporal Grayburn from the Northwest Mounted Police, and they have a memorial plaque set up for him down there, and a little bit of the story that goes along with part of the area. So when we come back, we'll be there. All right, and here we are. We're down the road a ways. We are at the Northwest Mounted Police back in those days, at the memorial site here, which has a nice green fence around it to protect it, I guess. I'm going to walk onto the other side of the fence to get some video of the epitaph. And there's a stone here. It's not by any means, it's not a grave marker. What this is just a it's a stone commemorating the Northwest Mounted Police Grayburn Detachment. It was here from 1888 to 1893. And then on the epitaph here. So Corporal Grayburn was murdered here. Constable Marmaduke Grayburn, Northwest Mounted Police, was shot and killed by unknown persons in the Cypress Hills, November 17th, 1879. He was the first mounted policeman killed by violence since the force was organized in 1873. Starchild, a Blood Indian, was accused of the murder, but was acquitted in 1881. So it's erected by the province of Alberta in memory of Constable Grayburn. A man just doing his job, gunned down in the prime of his life by unknown assailants. But that's what happens when you're out in the wilds. When the Wild West was still very much the Wild West and very much untamed, like it is today. Today out here, it's nothing but fences, private property, and cattle ranchers, which I have a lot of respect for cattle ranchers, don't get me wrong. They do a lot for the community, and they do a lot out here to keep this area safe and maintained. And I'm sure they're very much involved with parks and letting them know what goes on out here in the wintertime, especially if there's people illegally hunting and whatnot. And then further down the road you go, you come to Grayburn Hut. We're not going to go there today. The road back there is incredibly muddy. Like when I came down and checked it out yesterday, there's no way I'm going to attempt to go past that. It's just that time of year, and maybe next summer or in the spring we'll do a video, and we'll take you up to the survival tree. The survival tree is a tree that's been out there for over 100 years. It's a pine tree, and it has endured storms. People have cut it down and it regrew. It's an incredible story of an incredible tree, and an incredible way of life for that little tree that's out there. Well, it's a pretty fair sized tree now, but yeah, it's weathered some pretty severe storms, some pretty severe cuttings. People have hit it with their vehicles. Cows have trampled it, cattle have trampled it, stuff like that. But yeah, so that's all of that. And so this here is a memorial of Corporal Grayburn, Constable Grayburn. All right, that's going to conclude our trip down to see the slump and down to see where the Battle Creek is, and for the memorial of Constable Grayburn. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Stay tuned for our next video.